which produces the undeniable intelligent activity which all demonstrate. It can be called attractive energy, coherency, sentiency, aliveness, awareness or consciousness, but perhaps the most illuminating term is that the soul is the quality which every form manifests. It is that subtle something which distinguishes one element from another, one mineral from another. It is the intangible essential nature of the form, which in the vegetable kingdom determines whether a rose or a cauliflower, an elm or a watercress shall come into being. It is a type of energy which distinguishes the varying species of the animal kingdom, and makes one man different from another in his appearance, nature and character. The scientist has tabulated, investigated and analyzed the forms. Names have been selected and given to the elements, and the minerals, the forms of vegetable life, and the varying species of animals. The structure of the forms, and the history of their evolutionary progress have been studied, and deductions and conclusions have been reached, but the solution of the problem of life itself still eludes the wisest, and until the understanding of the web of life, or of the body of vitality which underlies every form, and links every part of a form with every other part, is recognized and known to be a fact in nature, the problem will remain unsolved. The definition of the soul may be regarded as somewhat more feasible than that of spirit owing to the fact that there are many people who have experienced at some time or another an illumination, an unfoldment, an uplifting, and a beatitude which has convinced them that there is a state of consciousness so far removed from that normally experienced as to bring them into a new state of being and a new level of awareness. It is something felt and experienced, and involves that psychic expansion which the mystic has registered down the ages, and which St. Paul referred to when he spoke of being caught up to the third heaven, and of hearing things there which it is not lawful for man to utter. When hearing and sight on those levels are both producing registered experience, then we have the occultist plus the mystic. 1. The soul, macrocosmic and microcosmic, universal and human, is that entity which is brought into being when the spirit aspect and the matter aspect are related to each other. A. The soul therefore is neither spirit nor matter but is the relation between them. B. The soul is the mediator between this duality. It is the middle principle, the link between God and His form. C. Therefore the soul is another name for the Christ principle, whether in nature or in man. 2. The soul is the attractive force of the created universe and, when functioning, holds all forms together so that the life of God may manifest or express itself through them. A. Therefore the soul is the form-building aspect, and is that attractive factor in every form in the universe, in the planet, in the kingdoms of nature and in man, who sums up in himself all the aspects, which brings the form into being, which enables it to develop and grow so as to house more adequately the indwelling life, and which drives all God's creatures forward along the path of evolution, through one kingdom after another, towards an eventual goal and a glorious consummation. B. The soul is the force of evolution itself, and this was in the mind of St. Paul when he spoke of the Christ in you, the hope of glory. 3. The soul manifests differently in the various kingdoms of nature, but its function is ever the same, whether we are dealing with an atom of substance, and its power to preserve its identity and form, and carry forward its activity along its own lines, or whether we deal with the form in one of the three kingdoms of nature, held coherently together, demonstrating characteristics, pursuing its own instinctual life and working as a whole towards something higher and better. A. Therefore the soul is that which gives distinctive characteristics and differing form manifestations. B. The soul plays upon matter, forcing it to assume certain shapes, to respond to certain vibrations and to build those specified phenomenal forms which we recognize in the world of the physical plane as mineral, vegetable, animal and human, and for the initiate certain other forms as well. 4. The qualities, vibrations, colors, and characteristics in all the kingdoms of nature are soul qualities, as are the latent powers in any form, seeking expression, and demonstrating potentiality. In their sum total at the close of the evolutionary period, they will reveal what is the nature of the divine life, and of the world soul, that oversoul which is revealing the character of God. A. Therefore the soul, through these qualities and characteristics, manifests as conscious response to matter, for the qualities are brought into being through the interplay of the pairs of opposites, spirit and matter, and their effect upon each other. This is the basis of consciousness. B. The soul is the conscious factor in all forms, the source of that awareness which all forms register and of that responsiveness to surrounding group conditions which the forms in every kingdom of nature demonstrate. C. Therefore the soul might be defined as that significant aspect in every form, made through this union of spirit and matter, which feels, registers awareness, attracts and repels, responds or denies response, and keeps all forms in a constant condition of vibratory activity. D. The soul is the perceiving entity produced through the union of Father Spirit and Mother Matter. It is that which in the vegetable world, for instance, produces response to the sun's rays, and the unfolding of the bud. It is that in the animal kingdom which enables it to love its master, hunt its prey, and follow out its instinctual life. It is that in man which makes him aware of his environment and his group, which enables him to live his life in the three worlds of his normal evolution as the onlooker, the perceiver, the actor. This it is which enables him eventually to discover that the soul in him is dual and that part of him responds to the animal soul, and part of him recognizes his divine soul. The majority, however, at this time will be found to be functioning fully as neither purely animal nor purely divine, but can be regarded as human souls. 5. The soul of the universe is for the sake of clarity capable of differentiation, or rather, owing to the limitations of the form through which that soul has to function, capable of recognition at differing rates of vibration and stages of development. The soul nature in the universe therefore manifests in certain great states of awareness with many intermediate conditions, of which the major can be enumerated, as follows. A. Consciousness, or that state of awareness in matter itself, due to the fact that Mother Matter has been fecundated by Father Spirit, and thus life and matter have been brought together. This type of 20 consciousness concerns the atom, molecule and cell of which all forms are constructed. Thus the form of the solar system, of a planet, and of all that is found upon or within a planet is produced. B. Intelligent sentient consciousness, i.e. that evidenced in the mineral and vegetable kingdoms. It is this which is responsible for the quality, shape, and coloring of the vegetable and mineral forms and for their specific natures. C. Animal consciousness, the awareness of soul response of all forms in the animal kingdom, producing their distinctions, species and nature. D. Human consciousness, or self-consciousness, towards which the development of the life, form and awareness in the other three kingdoms has gradually tended. This term concerns the individual consciousness of man, and in the early stages is more animal than divine, owing to the dominance of the animal body with its instincts and tendencies. HPP defines man accurately as an animal plus a god. Later it is more strictly human, neither purely animal nor entirely divine, but fluctuating between the two stages, thus making the human kingdom the great battleground between the pairs of opposites, between the urge or pull of spirit, and the lure of matter or mother nature, and between that called the lower self and the spiritual man. E-group consciousness, which is the consciousness of the great sum totals, is arrived at by man through the development, first of all, of his individual consciousness, the sum total of the lives of his animal, emotional, and mental natures, plus the spark of divinity dwelling within the form which they make. Then comes awareness of his group, as specified for him in that group of disciples, working under some one master who represents to him the hierarchy. The hierarchy might be defined as the sum total of those sums of men who are no longer centered in the individualized self-consciousness, but who have entered into a wider realization, that of the planetary group life. There are stages in this realization, mounting all the way from that tiny group recognition of the probationary disciple up to the completed group awareness of the life in whom all forms have their being, the consciousness of the planetary logos, that spirit before the throne, who manifests through the form of the planet, as man manifests through his form in the human kingdom. The soul therefore may be regarded as the unified sentiency, and the relative awareness, of that which lies back of the form of a planet and of a solar system. These latter are the sum total of all forms, organic or inorganic, as the materialist differentiates them. The soul, though constituting one great total, is, however, limited in its expression by the nature and quality of the form in which it is found, and there are consequently forms which are highly responsive to and expressive of the soul, and others which, owing to their density and the quality of the atoms of which they are composed, are incapable of recognizing the higher aspects of the soul or of expressing more than its lower vibration, tone or color. The infinitely small is recognized, the infinitely vast is assumed. But it remains as yet a concept until such time as the consciousness of man is inclusive, as well as exclusive. This concept will be understood when the second aspect is contacted, and men understand the nature of the soul. It must be also remembered that just as the basic triplicity of manifestation work out symbolically in man as his quota of energy, physical energy, his nervous system and the body mass, so the soul can also be known as a triplicity, the higher correspondences of the lower. There is first of all what might be called the spiritual will, that quota of the universal will which any one soul can express, and which is adequate for the purpose of enabling the spiritual man to cooperate in the plan and purpose of the great life in which he has his being. There is also the second soul quality, which is spiritual love, the quality of group consciousness, of inclusiveness, of mediatorship, of attraction and of unification. This is the paramount soul characteristic, for only the soul has it as the dynamic factor. The spirit, or monad, is primarily the expression of will with love, and intelligence as secondary principles, and the body nature, the personality, is paramountly distinguished by intelligence. 21 But the soul has outstandingly the quality of love, which demonstrates as wisdom also when the intelligence of the body nature is fused with the love of the soul. The following tabulation may make the thought clearer. Monad will, purpose. First aspect will, enabling the monad to participate in the universal purpose. Second aspect love, the energy which is poured forth into the soul, making it what it is. Third aspect intelligence, transmitted via the soul and brought into manifestation through the medium of the body. Soul love, the method. First aspect will, held in abeyance but expressing itself through the mind aspect of the personality and through Kundalini, which when aroused correctly makes possible the final initiations into the consciousness of the monad. Second aspect love, the dominant